Hey kids, ever go walking in the woods and wonder whether a fairy ring of mushrooms is poisonous? Well, look at its center. If there's a body, no older than yourself lying there, the ring is perfectly fine. If the body is also screaming, the ring is perfectly fine. Everything is perfectly fine. There is nothing under your bed. There is nothing in your closet. Your parents are most likely actually your parents, regardless of what the faceless old woman who secretly lives in your home might tell you. Do not fear the black helicopters or the black windowless school buses that circle your block at night. You need not be afraid of the boogeyman. There hasn't been a sighting of a boogeyman for several months, or at least a couple weeks. And yes, you will die, but probably not until everyone you know is already dead too. Your parents, your friends, your pets. Each death leaving a small but irreparable scar on your not yet still beating heart. The living tell the dying not to leave, and the dying do not listen. The dying tell us not to be sad for them, and we do not listen. The dialogue between the living and the dead is full of misunderstanding and silence. There's nothing to fear in oblivion, unless of course your consciousness survives death. If so, it would be reasonable to fear the sensation of consciousness without senses, suspended alone in the cosmos, with no one to hear you, and no way to make yourself known. No reference point for counting time. A count that does not matter anyway in a literal eternity. You might wish that you still had a corporeal form, only so that you could make your mouth move to express your terror, to make the universal form of a terrified scream, the form of a letter O. But you won't be able to. You just won't. This has been the Children's Fun Fact Science Corner, brought to you by shame, loneliness, and the letter O. I have been told, listeners, that the auction has descended into chaos. Michelle Wynn, owner of Dark Owl Records, having bid on a sealed box of Elvis Presley 45s, opened the box to find it was in fact a box of Elvis Presley's 45 caliber revolvers. The upended box has made bidding much more treacherous. Mayor Pamela Winchell, interested in Lot 28, a gently used 5-cup coffee maker, has begun laying down suppressing fire over the ducked heads of anyone trying to outbid her. Despite this, I must enter the auction house now myself, taking my life into my hands even more than usual. Lot 37, Cecil Palmer. I must know. I must bid. I go now, listeners, to await the crying of Lot 37. As I go, you go to the weather.
It's not a cat, one would give a damn. But I'm trying to stick may not be as exciting, but I'd take it any day. I prefer the lower heart rate that comes to me of my family. That doesn't mean your love has got to be lost on me.
Listeners, many complications ensued during my attempt to bid on Lot 37. First, in registering for the auction, I had to indicate my current income, which is made difficult as our new owners, who I have been asked to stop talking about, are now paying us in scrip, redeemable only at merchants they own, like Dust Hut or the Ralphs. Luckily, the Sheriff's Secret Police turns out to be one of those select merchants. I was able to get a paddle only moments before the bidding on Lot 37 began. When confronted with destiny, there are external events to record, yes, but also internal. I would say time slowed down, even more than usual. The edges of the room went blurry, and then went completely. There was a deep throb of distant machinery that I realized was my own heart propelling inadequate amounts of blood through my parched and aching body. If I did not win Lot 37, I would be unraveled. Perhaps I would be unraveled either way. The dull ache I felt was a primal ache of incompletion. The separation an infant feels when pulled too soon from its mother's embrace. My cheeks flushed with the irrationality of desire. I needed Lot 37. I counted my breaths. I judged myself for wanting, and judged myself wanting. I focused on those parts of my life completely out of my control in order to calm myself down, drowning my fears in pleasant helplessness. The upshot is, I forgot to raise my paddle. Oh, foolish Cecil. And through the tears that came then to my eyes, I couldn't see who won Lot 37 with only one bid. Winner of Lot 37. If you're listening, on one hand, I wish you good luck with your prize. On the other, I will be using the mightiest bully pulpit of all, community radio, to strike back at you and destroy you. But also, congratulations. Also that. I am authorized to tell you that the Sheriff's Secret Police have declared the auction a resounding success. In celebration, they deployed the piñata, to the screams, presumably delighted, of everyone in attendance. The winning bidders walked away grinning, laden down with trinkets and trophies that reassured them with the cleverness of sheer acquisition. The Sheriff's Secret Police went on to say that objects are invested with mana, magic power caused by the dangerous ideas of property and ownership. And holding on to them is our attempt at having something that will never let us down, even though eventually all will. People leave. Parents leave the room. Lovers leave your life. You leave the world. We clutch teddy bears first, then dolls, then sports jerseys and automobiles with hand-sewn leather and excellent gas mileage, as if that were something permanent. The sheriff's secret police gave a great cheer in honor of constant decay and the inevitability of abandonment. Listeners, accumulating objects is just a way, we hope, to turn back the grim specter of death. Thank you for your participation in this auction and for your hope that making a certain purchase, all-clad cookingware, a candelabra, a comic book, a community radio show host, would render you anything more than mortal. I go now to find myself, or to find who has myself, or to find someone that might make me feel better about what has happened today. I'd take that last one, honestly. I'd take that honest last one. And so, dear listeners, and whatever unknown person or entity that is now the owner of Lot 37, I bid you a farewell, the fondness of which is determined by your place relative to mine in my heart. Stay tuned next for our popular home medical program. Yes, that's probably cancer. Good night, Night Vale. Good night.
Welcome to Night Vale is a production of Commonplace Books. It is written by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor and produced by Joseph Fink. This episode was co-written with Glenn David Gold. Find his books wherever amazing books that will instantly become one of your favorites are sold. The voice of Night Vale is Cecil Baldwin. Original music by Disparition. All of it can be found at disparition.info or at disparition.bandcamp.com. This episode's weather was Absentee by Jack Campbell. Find out more at jackcampbell.bandcamp.com. Comments, questions? Email us at nightvale@commonplacebooks.com or follow us on Twitter at Night Vale Radio. Check out welcometonightVale.com for more information on this show, as well as all sorts of cool Night Vale stuff you can own. And while you're there, consider clicking the donate link. That'd be cool of you. Today's proverb: listen, I'm not a hero. The real heroes are the people that point out to us when protesters have smartphones, thus invalidating all concerns.